I mean, first of all, it was a cracking game last weekend. Obviously denied at the death, but how much confidence can you take from that game? Obviously with two really difficult opponents coming up.
Yeah, I think we take a lot of confidence from both that performance and even the Chelsea performance, despite the scoreline in that one, because I think we're very organised, caused some problems either in transition or in possession going forward, and that's something that's been a big focus on for us is managing the ball better, whether we're looking to keep it or whether we look to attack on the counter. And yeah, it was an incredibly competitive performance. Obviously, we scored the goal was a direct result of an organised press in an area that we thought we could exploit, and a well taken finish, and then changed shape at halftime to manage pressure on the ball a bit better because they were just more or less pumping it in behind us with runners on the highest line in the first half, and created a little bit of chaos in our box from that, and so changed our shape at half and managed to negate a lot of those opportunities, and there was just opportunities coming from wide areas. I think at 1-1 we probably would have felt it was a good result, but at 2-2 somehow we feel a bit gutted, just in the nature and the timing of the goals. So look, really proud of the performance, a lot to build upon, and I think there's some really critical lessons to take into the next matches ahead, which are still yet again tough.
Just a word on Elizabeth Terland because she did really well for the club last year, but this year it feels like she's stepped up to another level. So, I suppose what's kind of been the reason for that kind of step up in performance? And, it feels like she's on the score sheet every single week now.
To be honest, I think Terry will always be a player who continues to step up her performance and take it to new levels year in and year out because of the way that she prepares and how she reflects and what she demands of herself. She takes a lot of accountability. She's continuously watching clips, keeps herself prepared physically, and yeah, I think she'll always demand that little bit more from herself every week and every new year. I think it's great to see her in form and in finishing. I think she didn't actually convert a lot of opportunities within our preseason. We just maybe adjusted one or two things that she was doing and how she was taking opportunities in front of goal. And look, she finds herself chances in every single game, and she's just been really clinical with making some of the adjustments. So yeah, it's fantastic to have her in great form, but we also know that she's not the only place and source that we can score goals in. I think there's a lot of other threats that we'll hopefully be able to exploit in games ahead.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Mel. Best of luck for the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Adam?
Hi, I was just wondering if I could get a word on what you made of Sophie Baggaley's performance in the last game. I thought she was really impressive. She made some wonderful saves.
Yeah, I think Baggers has been excellent throughout the full of season since when we've got her on day one. She's incredibly motivated and determined. I think what she provides in a shot stopping capacity has been excellent because it's not just the first save, but it's the resilience and the athleticism to make the second and third save at times as well. I think there's areas that she'll continue to grow within her game, but how she's covered the goal has been excellent and really kept us alive in critical moments in some of these games, the last two especially.
And just team news, how's everything looking ahead of this weekend's game?
Yeah, we're in decent shape. I think it's always a little bit difficult managing minutes and travel coming off the back of the international window last weekend. Obviously, Maddie Haley has a little bit of a niggle, but we're hopeful for her availability still yet. Nothing too serious or long term, but I think that's it in terms of additional team news with injuries.
It's Man City coming up this weekend. What have you made of their start to the season?
Yeah, Man City are a good team. They're excellent in possession. They have a real ruthlessness about them in front of goal. They attack wide and central areas very well, have a load of different threats. And so we know that we'll have to have a really top performance out of possession as we did in the last two. And then we'll have to manage the ball even better in terms of opportunities going forward, possession, being clinical when we do have the ball.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel?
Hi, Mel. I just wanted to expand on
Dan's question about Elizabeth Terland. I know you'd been managing her minutes as she was coming back from injury. How crucial is it to have her, back starting now, particularly with these difficult fixtures, because she's just so clinical?
Yeah, look, she's a source of energy for the team as well, because she plays with such intensity. She's such a competitor. I think we can both build through her, but also stretch the game with her running beyond, which it's really impressive to have such a dynamic player in that position and in that way. And yeah, in terms of her being clinical, I think she still comes away, doesn't matter if she scores a goal or not, feeling responsible, accountable for different moments in the game, and wants to really challenge herself to think even more critically about certain moments in box where she can ask more questions as well. So she's a huge contributor.
And just a little bit on the bravery I think we're seeing from the team this season, particularly in the second half against Chelsea. I thought the team were really brave in the way they came forward, unlucky not to have gotten it back to 2-2. And again, seeing that against Manchester United, as you touched on, that press for the first goal was textbook. Can you touch a little bit on how you've brought that confidence into the squad this season?
I think we just want to be a team who gets pressure on the ball out of possession. I think that's so important. You look at the likes of these top teams, and if you sit in and you don't get any pressure on the ball, they have the quality to play around you. They have the quality to play through you. They have the quality to break down low blocks. And I think that's what, this team probably experienced quite a bit in the past. Having said that, you do have to be very, very brave and bold to apply higher pressure and get pressure on the ball and make sure that there's good organization and commitment from players behind you in terms of compactness between units, commitment to the cause, recognition of the really key identified moments that we do want to higher press in. And if we're able to execute, we reap the rewards, which we did on Sunday from a very well executed press. And I think it suits the group in large part. They're a group of competitors with a lot of quality, and we are good on the ball as well. And so to be able to showcase that, we have to get the ball back off of teams, especially when we're playing in this block of games where 4 games on the bounce, we're playing teams who finish in the top 4 regularly. So, it's just about ultimately being prepared for these moments and being organised and, as you said, being brave.
Brilliant. Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And Sean?
Hi Mel, just one from me. I know every manager says it's always one game at a time, but 5 games into the season, in terms of the bigger picture, are you happy with where you are at the moment?
I think we're happy in how our performances have grown from game to game, or I'd say from the last block going into this block. I think we learned a lot about ourselves in a couple games in that opening block. When you look at particularly the game against Spurs and West Ham, I don't think we're as happy with those performances and know exactly where we could have been better, but we've taken those lessons and really built upon that. And I think you saw the rewards and efforts of that going into the next 2 fixtures. So I think we're happy in terms of the progression of the direction that we're moving, but we know we're only as good as our next performance, and that we have to take the way it felt on Sunday, bring that into training, and then still continue to add and build as a team, because ultimately that's where we're at right now. We probably want more. We're not necessarily happy with the position that we're in, but we're happy with the direction that we're moving.